So today's episode is just me, myself and I'm going to go through a few topics that you guys sort of answered on my stories and that you sort of requested. I'm going to start with how to grow muscle or how to grow muscle groups. If you want to grow muscle, every muscle grows the same way. You need to go in the gym, build strength, come out of the gym, and then that process repeats over time. I'm not going to say the most basic stuff. You all probably know the basic way how to build or grow a muscle, yeah? But I'm going to go into what most lads, most guys miss the trick on. It's a few mistakes that I made. The first thing, guys, is not recovering properly, not recovering from your sessions. So what I mean by that is, guys, if you train and then you sleep 5 hours that night, how are you going to grow the same muscle as if you slept 9? You don't build muscle in the gym. You build muscle at home when you're sleeping. You build muscle when you're recovering. But the first and most important thing is just walking in the gym, doing whatever you fancy. I did that for ages, and the amount of muscle I accumulated was limited and not very much over the amount of time I was in the gym in my younger years, because I didn't adhere to the plan that I set, or I didn't have a plan at all. Now, it doesn't matter, guys, whether you're doing push-pull legs, an upper-lower split, a full-body split. It doesn't matter what method you use. Loads of fitness guys will tell you like, nah, you got to do this way and this way. It doesn't matter which plan you follow. Are you adhering to getting stronger week in, week out? Are you eating enough calories and enough protein to promote muscle protein synthesis, which is building and repairing muscle? Are you eating enough protein to do that? Are you sleeping well enough to sustain a decent level of testosterone, which is the main driver which initiates muscle protein synthesis? Are you training hard enough to stimulate a muscle growth response? Are you taking your sets close to failure? If you're not pulling some ugly sex faces, yeah, when at the end of your sets, you're probably not building that much muscle because you're not giving your body a reason to grow. When you feel that first little burn on rep 5 or 6 of a curl, most lads will stop at 8 or 9 because the burn's starting to set in, this is starting to feel a bit sore, and they'll just drop the weight. Now, when you first start the gym and you first start that process, you might get away with that for 3 to 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. The main point I wanted to get at was, if you're not getting stronger week in, week out, you're not going to build muscle. That's a fact. No one can argue with me on that. And the only way you know if you're getting stronger is if you're tracking what you're doing. If you're not getting stronger, you're not getting bigger. That's it. Strength and size are synonymous. I've never seen a massive guy that's weak, and I've never seen a super strong guy that's small. It just doesn't happen, okay? You need to track your workouts. You need to track what's going on. What's the point in being in the gym 4 days a week, 5 days a week? You're putting all of that time and effort, and you're burning all those calories, doing all that stuff, just to what? Go and have a bit of fun for an hour. Fair play, like fair play. I did that for ages, but you're in there to do a job. You're in there to build muscle and go home. You wouldn't turn up to your work or whatever and just fuck about for the whole day and not get anything done, because you get fired, wouldn't you? Well, why are you in the gym fucking about? You're wasting everyone's time. You're wasting your own time. You may as well track your workouts, do things you enjoy in the gym, get stronger, build muscle. That's why you're there. Don't get me wrong, some lads have different goals and that's cool, but if you're not doing the necessary things in and outside of the gym to sustain the muscle growth, or sustain and achieve the goal that you have. So that's another thing I'll say as well. You can be progressing in the gym, you can be doing exercises correctly. If you're just chasing the weight or chasing those extra 2 reps, if you're not executing it to the best of your ability, you're not actually going to be fatiguing or contracting that muscle to the level of efficiency that you could. Let's say, for example, I'm doing a bench press with dumbbells or a barbell. I can still take that bench down nicely and push it up. I can put my shoulders down, I can stick my chest up, to do everything I can to keep it as safe as possible, yeah? I can come down to my chest, get a nice range of motion, I can come up, stop before the end. But if your mind isn't in your muscle, if you're not contracting, if you're not focused on every rep, if you're not executing a rep and actually trying to contract your chest, for example, if you're not doing that, or on a bicep curl, if you're just going through the motion with a weight, okay, but if you're not trying to engage your bicep, tuck it in and make it nice, make it proper, or a lateral raise. If you're going too heavy on a lateral raise and you're just swinging about going from A to B, yeah, the technique might look great, but if you're not contracting that muscle group or that muscle, again, you're wasting time. Now, you'll still grow if you're following progressive overload. Everyone does. But you want to maximize every rep. You want to maximize every workout. Number 3, I'll say, is not every workout will be efficient and optimal and this and that. Some workouts will be shit. Some workouts will be terrible. You might be tired one day. You might your nan might have just died. I don't know. Yeah, you might be a bit upset. Yeah, like something bad might have happened to you. So like, as long as you're consistent and disciplined and committing to the progress, you'll get the result you want. Discipline, consistency, execution, progression, technique, recovery. So that's in the gym, out of the gym, recovery, sleep, eating nutritious food that's going to support testosterone production, that's going to support muscle protein synthesis, like nutritious meats, like red meats, beef. You should be eating beef a lot. I don't care what people tell you. You should be eating beef a lot if you can. Unprocessed foods, things like that. Now don't get me wrong, we all love a biscuit. We all love a dirty Mackey's. We all love a dirty pizza. Yeah? Time to time, it's not going to kill you. But if you're being undisciplined and eating this shit day in, day out, how can you expect to build an impressive physique? How can you expect to adhere to your goals? How can you expect to produce a decent level of testosterone if you're consuming bullshit? How can you expect to build muscle if you're sleeping 5 hours per night? Cool. Next thing, what you guys wanted to know. You wanted to know how to stay disciplined. So I'm not exactly Dr. Discipline, yeah, but I've lived in this country for about 6 months and I've actually learned how to just stop being a fucking pussy. I've actually learned how to stop giving excuses for everything. I've learned how to not be lazy because I've been incredibly uncomfortable mentally and physically. This has forced me to be disciplined. Otherwise, things would just be bad. Things would go to shit. If your life's too easy, if your life's too comfy, you don't have a sense of urgency to improve. It's really hard to have the willpower to be disciplined, but in my experience, these last 6 months, I've found if you have no choice but to be disciplined, or you'll literally not have a job, you literally not have a capability to like survive in a way, whatever, then yeah. Create a sense of urgency in your life. Provide a stimulus to make yourself grow. It's the same as in the gym, building some biceps. It's the same outside of life. You need to fucking... It's all good me sitting there saying, get up, stop being a pussy, get out of bed, stop being a bitch. But if you've not got a reason to do that, you're going to sit in bed and wank off all day anyway. Smoke weed all day anyway. Fuck about all day anyway. Chase pussy all day anyway. Yeah. I'm angry today, ain't I, babe? I need to chill the fuck out. Anyway, yeah. So with discipline, guys, in my experience, the only time in my life I've been disciplined is when I had no fucking choice but to be. You need to create a sense of urgency in your life. You need a reason. If you're still living at home with mum, she's cooking all your meals and doing your laundry, she loves you to bits. I'm not disrespecting that, but when I had an easier life back in the UK, I didn't grow. I just stayed the same. Everything was always mediocre. Like, I'd work a little bit hard for a few days, but then I'd drop back down. And it was always up and down, but still on a stagnant plane of mediocrity. I never progressed with my physique in the last 2 years. I did a little bit, but it was minimal. I didn't progress with my business like I could have done. I did a little bit, but it was minimal. I didn't have a reason to grow. Have a reason to grow. Look in the mirror, give yourself a reason to grow. It might be something as drastic as what I've done. I literally moved fucking country. That's fucking crazy, but it's made me so much better. I'm not saying you've got to move to fucking Antarctica or Thailand or somewhere else, but I'll say it one more time. Give yourself a reason to progress, to grow, to do something good, to make yourself great. So there's 3 more things I'll touch on today, guys. A couple people answered on the polls and they said how to deal with trauma. That was one of the options that I gave. I think loads of people go through trauma. It's quite normal. This is quite a weird concept. At the time, you might not feel that way because trauma's pretty horrible, whatever variation or trauma it is. I'm not saying you should welcome an awful event happen in your life or your family or to your loved one or to you, but times that are horrible and times that are tough, they often create a sense of urgency to grow, like what I said earlier, to make yourself stronger. So you can be sad, you can be upset, you can be depressed even, you can even be anxious over whatever. Something awful might happen to you and that's okay. I'm not going to talk about the examples of trauma because there's many and I can't be bothered to sit here and list off all of them, even ones that happened to me. I'm not willing to open up about it on this episode, but without it, I wouldn't be the person I am. So welcome bad times, they make you better. It's easy for me to sit there and say that though. Like, I don't wish for something tragic to happen. Like, that's fucking horrible. Like, horrible things are horrible. But they are part of life. You can't have the good without the bad. Bad shit's gonna happen when you least expect it, when you want it or not. Bad things will happen to you one way or another. But to offer some practical advice, if you're going through something tough right now, don't try and resist those bad feelings. You need to sit with them. You need to welcome that awful stuff that's happening or the awful feelings it's caused you to have or the internal pain you have. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to be sad, be sad. You might be super lonely right now. You might have just broken up with someone you loved. But all these things happen for a reason. You need to be upset. You need to sit in the pain and you need to dwell in it and deal with it. You need to be in the grey clouds for a while. You might need to have it rainy in your life for a while. Then you will appreciate the sunshine so much more. That sounds cringy as fuck, but it's so true. So true. Sit with your pain. It's necessary. Process it. Don't bottle it up. Don't feel like shit. And if you don't feel like you can talk to someone in your life about things you're going through, go and seek help. I had Blake Rivers on the podcast, a good friend of mine, a good PT. If you haven't seen episode 1 of Plates, Dates and Mates podcast, go watch it. It was a great episode. Me and Blake talk about men's mental health a lot. But anyway, me and him both, I'm not going to say confessed, me and him both said how we went to see someone. We both seeked therapy or counselling, whatever you call it. Especially for men, you might think it's weak to have to sit with some random bird, pay her £50 an hour and talk about your feelings for a bit. But these people are professional. They are professionally equipped to help you process and deal with the internal mental problems you've got. They literally have degrees in how to deal with this. So if it's going to help you make sense of it, it's the most practical thing to do. It's an investment in yourself. The same thing goes for if you're like chronically, like physically bad, not just mentally bad. If you've got like drug addictions or you're doing things you shouldn't be doing or you're super overweight and obese or you're this and that, investing in someone to help you who's actually going to help you solve that problem is sometimes what you need to do. So the last one I'll discuss, guys, was feeling lost. They don't have a direction in life. I don't actually have too much experience here because I always knew what I wanted to be, but times I did feel lost was the times where I was off my path and I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I'll tell you a quick little story. I won't go into too much detail, but when COVID happened, in a nutshell, I literally ditched my whole personal training business that I built up at the age of 2021, and I chose to pursue a different path, which was fucking stupid. At the time I thought it was cool, but it was stupid. Bad things nearly happened, and bad things did happen. I got off my path so bad, and I literally turned into a version of myself that I didn't even know. I was purely driven by egotistical arrogance, greed, lust, temptation, desire. I fell into this pit of egotistical. I was pretty much being a prick. For a whole year, I was a fucking prick. I'm not even gonna lie. At the time, I felt like the man, but then I lost it all, and I realised how little of a man I actually was, because I was relying on this self-sense of confidence and arrogance, which wasn't even me. And over the time, I've learned to process all the trauma, which was the reason I did that decisions in the first place. And now I'm here right now. And that was all part of the journey, it was all part of the process. Yeah, so if you're feeling lost, guys, you need to try, for some more practical advice, you need to try some new things. You need to try things that are gonna stimulate your brain, you know, like do something completely weird and uncomfortable that you wouldn't normally do. Like, I don't know, go fishing, go dancing, play hockey, go down the gym for the first time, try lift some weights. You might love it to pieces. You might want to become a personal trainer. You might want to become a fitness guy. You might want to become a chef. You might start making food and feel how much you love it. Another thing I'll say though is you don't have to do something you love, like with all your passionate heart. You need to do what you're good at, because that's what's going to make you successful. You might love something, but you might not necessarily be good at it. Now, you can become better at something. I'm not saying you shouldn't do what you want to do, but you should definitely work on, you should definitely work with your strengths and do what you want to do, you know, at the same time. The last one is finding your purpose. I used to believe in that quite well, like my purpose is to do this and this. Now, my purpose is to help as many young men as possible become self-sufficient, disciplined, and stronger, because I feel like that's lacking in the world, and I feel like men need to get better to make the world a better place. I really, really do. So it's my job to help young lads get better, work through traumas, work through their insecurities, and become strong men in the gym, outside of the gym, deal with their mental stress as well as their physical stress. But your purpose, it can be a number of things. It doesn't have to be some big dream or vision. It can be so simple and so beautiful. And I think a lot of people I released a reel recently and I said, wake up and smell the flowers. I actually see what's around you that's so gorgeous and beautiful. I wasted so many years, literally years, always being anxious or paranoid about not being to the level I wanted to be in life, not having what I wanted, always wanting to go a step above. It's great to have aspirations, but like even something simple, like since I've been here, I've not been with like my dog at home. I love my dog so much. He's literally like my best friend. Like just to now have like 2 seconds with my dog, just give him a cuddle, and that'd be amazing. Or I'm here with my beautiful, lovely girlfriend. I'm so lucky to have her. She's amazing. Now, she doesn't make me any money. She doesn't help me become better. That's all down to me. Or like, for example, I'm so lucky to have my grandparents and my parents still here on this earth. You know, that's absolutely amazing. And to appreciate things like family and genuine friends. If you've got them in your life, honestly be grateful, because some people don't have it. It's one of the most beautiful things that literally doesn't require anything from you, like to level up or be a geezer or make more money or make a business or progress in your career, get some bonuses. Sometimes the simple things in life are the most beautiful things, and the most beautiful things in life are definitely free. Like going for a walk, watching a sunset, or listening to the birds sing outside, like chilling, having a coffee on a Sunday morning with someone you love, taking your dog for a walk, things like that, you know. But guys, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you watch this, or you watched a small part of it and I helped you out, that's amazing. And thank you so much for everyone that supports me. It actually means so much to have people that like even just follow the channel, follow me and like what I do. So nice. But the most important thing is that I can help people. And if you're a young lad or a woman, whatever, but yeah, if you're a young lad and you want some help, don't be afraid to shoot me a message today. It can be with your mental health, with your gym, with your anything. Now, I'm still a young man. I don't have all the answers. I'm not some super guru. I've still got my own problems. I'm not perfect. But if I can help you, in any way, I'd love to. So yeah, thank you guys. See you in the next one.